Hello, happy Valentine's Day. What do you think of my flowers? Can you smell them? I'm so glad you're here. We're going to be talking about the things that we love about teaching reading and the things that we don't love too much about teaching reading tonight. It is a love me not discussion here at Reading Simplified. I'm Dr. Marnie Ginsberg, and at Reading Simplified, we are always trying to help classroom teachers or anyone teaching reading streamline their reading instruction and also accelerate their students' reading achievement. So I'm excited that you're here today. Hey, say hello if you are in the house. Where are you coming from? Right now, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. Just got back from a conference in California, which was such a treat, and my husband was awesome. And then now I get roses too, so it's a good day. Are you excited about Valentine's Day, or are you bracing for it? I thought we'd have a little fun and talk about what we love and what maybe we don't love so much about reading. We can share some ideas. I've got some things on my mind that I'd love to share with you, but I also want to hear from you guys. Hey, Krista, you're in Manitoba right now. Welcome. So glad you're here. Thanks for sharing where you are. Who else is around? And Melody's here. Yay. Say hey, hello, everybody, to Krista and Melody. So let me know what you love and what you don't love about the teaching of reading. And in fact, tonight, not only are we going to have this discussion, but you can get some freebies. I've got one freebie for everyone. Let me show you that. It is a sorted page with a Valentine's Day poem. The poem is News Just for You, and it's all about the ooh sound. So I'll be announcing how to get to that soon. Soon, there's the ooh sound. But I'm also going to be giving out a free Chutes and Ladders game for the ooh sound for anyone who participates tonight with this topic. If you put in the comments one love that you have about teaching reading and one love not so much about teaching reading, and then you direct message me at our Reading Simplified Facebook page, we'll hook you up with that extra bonus Chutes and Ladders kind of snakes and ladders game to reinforce the ooh sound. So let's get started. So what are your loves about reading? Okay. How about my number one? I bet you guys are going to say something very similar to this, but I would love to hear how you would phrase it. So my number one is the exquisite joy of seeing a reader unfold before me, getting to be a reading teacher and have students learn to read. How many of you put that as your number one for about the teaching of reading? I bet our first grade teachers get to see that more than anyone. Or those who are reading intervention folks, you probably get to see that more, and that may be such a joy. So that is my number one. It is why I do what I do. It's why I persist when kids have struggles, because I just love to see them get reading. It is a thrill to see them get their first sentence, to get into their first authentic text like Henry and Mudge, and even better, the first chapter book, or then when they're on their way and they've got like a chapter book series, addiction. Oh, these are glorious times. That is the best thing about being a reading teacher, right? There's probably not many other things in teaching of children that is quite as significant, is it? Is there? What do you guys say? So, Krista says she loves seeing the kiddos' growth. Absolutely. I totally agree. 100% with you there, Krista. And Melody, what's your thoughts? She says, love watching the students' excitement when they start to unlock the code of reading. Exactly. Not only do we get excited, but they get excited, especially when they are successful from the get-go, right? Or maybe even they've struggled, but those kindergartners and those first graders, they're so eager. They know that this is their moment, and they want to learn to read, and it seems hard after a while, and then suddenly they get it, and woo, it's so dear. It is so dear. And Joanne, hey, thank you for showing up, and you agree that you love it when the students really get it. That is so cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, we got some love knots though. Okay, let me share my love knots, and then we'll hear it from you guys. So My love not is being endlessly bombarded with all the stuff that you have to do to be a reading teacher. So you've got lists of phonics and lists of phonemic awareness, and you've got vocabulary instruction and spelling and handwriting and listening skills. And did I already say spelling? You got to teach them nouns and verbs, capitalization, punctuation, poetry, comprehensions, strategies. It's just sometimes it feels like it's not actually possible to teach all the things that are in the lists that we get. The lists, the table of contents, the scope and sequences. Ugh. That's actually why I created Reading Simplified, because I just couldn't handle the overwhelm, and I always felt like, well, I think I'm doing what's good right here, but maybe I should be teaching nouns too. And I think this is really good. They need to learn how to decode, but maybe I'm doing a bad job because I'm not giving spelling tests every week. So that kind of second guessing, that's for the birds. So that I would say is a love me not. All right, let's see what you guys say. Melody, thank you. Oh goodness, sorry you guys. Having trouble with my commenting, pulling these comments in. Love not, she says, Melody says, love not trying to get kids to read more, right? Or when they don't want to read more, that's the hardest thing, right? I agree with you. When there's resistance, that's rough, all right? I'm totally with you. By the way, if you think other people would enjoy discussing these issues and or getting some of these freebies, share it out right now so they can come on and join us live, or comment with a friend's name so they can be tagged. What are some love nots and loves? If you are just joining us, I'm sharing my loves and my love nots about teaching reading. And if you participate by sharing a love not and a love about the teaching of reading, then you'll get a bonus prize if you DM me. You got to put a note in my Reading Simplified Messenger, otherwise I won't know. So, Joanne, what are you finding? I don't love when I've gone over something over and over and over again. They don't seem to remember what a phoneme says. Absolutely. Didn't we just cover the ooh all week? Totally with you there. Now, Penny, hey, well, I'm glad you're here. And you say that you love it when they finally take off with reading. Absolutely. I love how we have different kinds of definitions of what's going, when they really get it is what Joanne says, when they take off, when Penny says, Krista says, seeing the kids' growth. Amen. This is awesome, you guys. Keep it coming. You're just coming in, share me your loves or your love nots about the teaching of reading. I've already gone over number 1, and if you share and then DM me, you'll also get a prize. But everybody who stays on will also get a Valentine's poem for Sort It. So what's another love for me? Oh, okay. This is my favorite. I love to teach struggling students, but my number 2 has really got to be when I've got some typically developing kids and I do a few activities like Switch It and Read It, and they practically teach themselves. It is so amazing how quickly they get it. Like fundamentally, sometimes I'm kind of lazy. And if I teach it to them in a day or a week and I see some light bulbs going off, then I'm like, this is going to be good, right? That's always fun. For instance, I might get a new student and teach them Switch It, and right there in front of me, I see them start to unlock how the code works. They get finally for the first time the concept of the alphabetic principle. They start to manipulate phonemes or segment phonemes. And if you haven't heard about what Switch It is, it's really the key decoding activity that unlocks so much to becoming a good reader. And I share about that at readingsimplified.com, and then go to the Start Here button. You can learn more about Switch It if that's new to you. But it's not just Switch It. Maybe the student has had trouble with blending, and I teach them the blend as you read strategy, and it may be kind of hard the first day, but then the second day suddenly it's working. It works in Read It, like in WordWork, and then it's working when they are transferring it to real books. Like I have a student like that right now. Do you guys have a student like that where everything's coming easily and it's not too much of a strain? She's a first grader, and I've probably worked with her in the last 6 weeks about an hour total, just little snippets here and there, and did some Switch It, did some Read It, some Sort It. And like when I give her a sentence as dictation, with maybe the target spelling that we're working on, or maybe one that we haven't worked on for a few weeks. She gets all the sounds. Like, I have a boat near my home. She'll represent every sound, and then she'll even remember some of the trickier spellings. Like, she might get the OA in boat, even though that's pretty high level for someone who's just in the middle of first grade, and we haven't been actually, doing that as spelling. So my second favorite is the kids who just pick it up super quickly. And then, however, a love me not is when I've been working with a kid doing that classic strong reading instructions, which I know will get them sound symbol processing. I've done it for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and it just seems like it's not working. Like we're trudging through mud. Have you guys seen that? That is discouraging, right? If you have seen that and you don't really like that, go ahead and put something in the comments like trudging or trudging through mud. That does happen, right? And I don't like it at first. Let me tell you what happens to me. I feel like, okay, I thought we would have gotten it by now, but some things aren't sticking as much as I thought they would. And at first I get a little discouraged. And then I remember, okay, some kids take longer. I'm going to get my detective hat on. I'm going to go back to the basics, be really sure I've got this student's most pressing need, and I'm going to get as much practice and as much fun into the lesson as I can, and really, zero in on what it's going to take to move the needle. So I'm kind of thinking like a detective. I'm putting my hands up here because it's imaginary detective hat. Can you see that? So it's, figuring out what is it for this kid. Not only is it the reading question, like what's their most pressing need, what activity do they need, but it also may be something like what is their motivational situation, what is a block there, an emotional block there, or do we need to change the environment? So I'm just kind of brainstorming at that point. So at first, it's definitely a love me not, but then I have done this enough that I know we'll get to the next plateau. I just put on my detective hat and we work around it and come up with some solutions. So I see lots of you guys sharing. Thank you so much. So let's see what other things you guys said. Mia says, I love it when students get it. Yes. Hearts for that, right? Isn't that what you love? Penny says, her love not is she gets frustrated when students continue to lag behind, even when you put in the extra time and work into them. So true. It's like you think that's going to make the difference, and when you turn around and it's not, it's really, really a downer. It's rough. That's when the detective hat needs to come out. That's when you maybe need to get some coaching, talk with a peer. If I would love to help out in those situations, because brainstorming is really brainstorming with other reading specialists or other people who teach reading is really powerful when we hit that spot. We don't have to go it alone, you guys. What are some other love knots? Krista says, my love not right is our division in moving to a mandated program. Oh, your division, like your school. Should I not really use Reading Simplified, but I'm going to keep sneaking in? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that Switch It doesn't fit with pretty much anything. Just kind of say, this is a modification of the Phonemic Awareness Activity 2.2. Yeah, Christy, you're kind of getting ahead and into my love me not for number 3. Yeah, we'll get to that. Katie, what's your love not? She says, doing everything, including standing on your head and still hearing crickets. Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, that happened to me a lot when I was a middle school teacher. I don't really have a personality for middle school teaching. I found out I just wasn't cool. I just couldn't get their attention as much as I'm a lot better with preschoolers, elementary kids, especially in front of a whole classroom. So yeah, sometimes you just have to do, with any age, of course, sometimes it seems like you have to do too much and then you get very little result. I hear you with that, Katie. Betty says that she is helping homeschool. You're a helping homeschool grandmother. Awesome. That's so wonderful. I'm sure it takes a village, right? Especially when you're homeschooling. And I love it when their eyes light up after reading a story on their own, or even with a little help. Of course, yes. We've had a lot of those kinds of ideas here tonight. That's the best part about being a reading teacher. So when you get down about the things that are are hard, just keep that little memory. These things will happen and the joy will come back, like Betty talks about, their light in their eyes. What are some other loves? Marge, you're saying you love it when a student is excited that they learned a new word. Yes, I don't love one, but you don't love when a student says it's too hard or when they haven't even looked at the word or tried the word first. Absolutely. Oh, that is so frustrating. I even had a kindergarten student once who already had developed such a profound learned helplessness that I coached him to do switching. I coached him to blend as he reads. And then he would look at a 3-sound word in a book, even if it was like 4 words on a page, he'd be like, oh no, I can't. And it was really hard getting up that mountain. I know that feeling. You kind of encourage them and tell them you know more than you can. And then you also put your detective hat on, right? And figure out what is the motivating factor for these type of kids. But that can be very discouraging. I agree with you, Marge. And Katie says she loves seeing the confidence when they do become consistent. Amen. Yeah, many of you have seen that Switch It video of the little boy I worked with for 5 days in a row. And the second and third day, you can see that he's like sitting up straighter. He's not slumping. His face is not really like smiling, but he's kind of not so somber. And because of the success, he was standing tall, and that is so delightful, isn't it? Krista says that she loves when her kiddos ask if they have reading. Even if reading is hard for them, they're excited to come. Oh, so like as a pull-out. Oh, that is a beautiful thing. I want to go to reading. I love that. That kind of comes in with my third love it. Let's get into the love it, and then I'll hear some more from you guys. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're going to be sharing this little fun freebie as a Valentine's gift from me to you. It's a sorted activity. We're going to give it away soon. And you read the poem. The student reads the poem, sorts the ooh sound words in the columns down here with the key sentence. And then you can reread it and get some of those spellings in the brain as well as those high frequency words. But if you also participate by sharing a love or a love not, you'll also get another bonus. I will send that out via Facebook Messenger, but you'll have to just, message me and tell me, I did the love it and the love me not. So I know, and then I'll get you the other freebie, a second freebie for anyone who's participating with the comments with a love me and a love me not. Okay, so my third love me is the read aloud. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about some of my middle school experience. I'm not saying I was a terrible teacher, but, I just didn't feel like I was on top of my game, hooking their attention. However, when it was time for the read aloud, I had all eyeballs on me. There was not a pin that you could hear dropping. They were wrapped with attention. And so not only did, of course, I like having the classroom management under control, I liked them listening to me if I was going to teach them something about the book, but these were kids who hadn't read novels before, many of them. And they were listening to a novel day after day, and they were enraptured, and they asked questions, and they contributed to the dialogue when we discussed different aspects of the book. I didn't just read it straight. We had an interaction with it, and they cried in where the red fern grows, and they were scared with running out of time, and they laughed with the great Jilly Hopkins, and those were some really good days with that read aloud. Of course, I also enjoy reading aloud to my students sometimes and my children sometimes, but I was faithful at doing the read aloud with those middle schoolers, not just because of classroom management, but when they are getting written language in their brain and through those years, they are learning a lot about the world. They're learning about new vocabulary, sophisticated vocabulary that they don't hear in everyday common speech. So it was really powerful. They were learning to love literature. And then I loved it when they would ask, oh, can I read that book? Or can I read another book by that author? Oh, that's mind-blowing. Again, one of the best things about being a reading teacher, right? While we're at it, do you have a good read aloud? I would love to hear what your best read alouds are. I think that year that I'm thinking of most recently, Running Out of Time by Margaret Haddix was just, we were like, oh my gosh, we were on the edge of our seats with that. That was a very tense kind of mystery type thing. So that's my third love it. All right, let me show you my loves here again. We're doing love it and love nots with reading. My love not is actually more about what I hear from you guys. And this kind of goes back to, who was it? Was it Krista, I'm afraid? Yeah. When you are asked to do something that you know is not in the best interest of the kids, or when you are doing something that's efficient, working for you, and then you're asked to switch or do something different. So this is so common. And as a reading teacher, or, you know, of any kind, whether you're in the classroom or pull out or specialist or tutor, that can be very, very challenging. I'd love to know if you guys, Krista is starting to experience that. I have heard this from a lot of folks, and it's very, very hard. So it's not at all that I'm against supervision or against continuity. Of course, those are essential for running big systems like schools. But when you have something like Reading Simplified and just a handful of activities like Switch It and Read It or Sort It are moving kids along, and then they say, oh, close that up, do this thing, you know, on a Monday, do page 1, on Tuesday, do page 2, and you're not, you know, encouraged to think as diagnostically maybe, and there's a script. Oh, that can be heartbreaking. So that's a real downer. If you have been in that state, type conflicted. Have you been like conflicted, or are you right now? You might be in conflict. I'm sorry if that's going on for you. So that's my third love not. Let's hear some more from you guys. Okay. Ooh, Joanne, she says she loves when students start to use Blend as you read without a reminder. Absolutely, transfer. That's a glorious thing. And if you don't know what Blend as you read is, it's in an activity that we call Read It. And again, you can find it at readingsimplified.com, and then click to the Start Here button, kind of in the middle top of the page. And you'll find information about the Read It activity and the Blend as you read strategy, which unlocks reading for so many kids. Okay, so thank you, Joanne. That's so true. And Katie says, yep. She's been there. She's been in the trudging. And Katie, yep, we've all experienced it. Amen. Joanne says, yeah, when the kids are stuck, you agree that it takes a lot of brainstorming. Put on that detective hat, figure out, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Just come up with some ideas and test them out. Something will come up. Oh, Katie, so you have the experience with middle school too, like I have. She says she taught 6th grade reading and then switched to SLP, which is probably pretty smart if it wasn't your bag of chips. What is the expression? Cup of tea? So you said you were too sarcastic. Ha! Our superintendent said middle school is the range of the strange. Yes. Classic. All right. So if you have not been here live and you're just catching this replay, I still want to honor that bonus for anyone who's participating. Just go ahead, type in the comments any kind of thing that you love and that you love not about the teaching of reading, and then DM me, direct message me at my Reading Simplified page, and we will send you out a free Chutes and Ladders game PDF so you can teach the ooh sound for anyone with extra practice of high frequency ooh sound words. Okay, but I'm so glad that all of you are here, and so I want to give you this page. So if you go to readingsimplified.com/Valentines, you will be able to snag this little page. And there's some directions on the page if you don't know what exactly is the purpose of this activity. If you don't know a lot about Sort It, there's some directions on the page, and also in an email that we'll send you, you'll get access to more information like videos if you want to learn more, if that's kind of new to you. Many of you are Sort It pros though, right? Can I get a heart or a like for Sort It? And if anybody is available to type that for me, that would be super helpful. readingsimplified.com/Valentines, no apostrophe, just Valentines, one word. So I'm glad that you guys shared this little levity with me. I wish I could give you another Valentine. Thank you for joining me. Again, make sure if you shared a love and a like in the chat, you DM our Facebook page and we'll get you that free Snakes and Ladders, Chutes and Ladders. And if you want this page right here, go to readsimplified.com/Valentine's. And also, I'm going live most Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern here on this Facebook page. So set your notifications for on and follow so you don't miss out. And even if you can't be here live, you can always catch the replay. We will be here on this page unless the technology goblins get us, so that you can catch this later. We're often giving away professional development and or always giving away professional development on often some freebies like this. So I'm glad you're here. Again, share it with a friend or share it out or tag a friend. I bet other people would like some things like this. And maybe, you know, you don't want to tell them this is the way to teach reading, but maybe little links to new activities could be inspiring for some. So that's one way to serve even more children than your own classroom, right? Isn't it? All right, let's check the comments, see what we've got here. Joanne, I think that is for Sort It. I'm glad. Or maybe for the freebies. And we've got someone helping. Teachers are the helping profession. Thank you, Marge. There is that's perfectly correct. Hopefully it works for you. It should. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day. How many of you have candy coming tomorrow? My 9-year-old's 4th grade class, her whole grade is not allowing candy, and she thinks that's terrible. But as a teacher, I'm pretty sympathetic with that. What do you guys think? Do you have candy coming? Hopefully, whether you do or not, it's a fun day that you get some instruction in there. And if you liked this activity, this sorted activity, let me know. I am available on email, or you can message our Reading Simplified page. And don't forget, we'll be back here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys.